Hi, welcome to yoga for neck and shoulders. So really nice little routine that I've got for you today to open up any tight spots that you've got around the neck, the shoulders, the upper arms. So only props you'll need today are a couple of blocks. These will be really helpful if you've got them. If you haven't, then finding a replacement will really help. So coming to start today in a seated position, feel free to grab a cushion to sit on if that's better for you. And then allowing your eyes to close once you get there. And beginning today's short class by taking just a few moments to notice your breath, to observe it. So often the day gets really busy and it's the last thing that we think about is the breath. So allowing yourself a few moments here to observe what's going on for you. Maybe your breath is quite shallow or quite fast. Maybe it's finding depth into the lower ribs, the back of the body, or the belly. What does it feel like to breathe in and out? What's the texture of your breath like? Seeing if maybe there's an opportunity to create a little bit more space for your breath to fill your body. Often when our neck and shoulders are tight, it can really affect the breathing. So taking a few moments to check in with your breath when you have a second in the day can be really valuable. And on your next breath, allowing your eyes to gently open. And taking a few shrugs of the shoulders. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, down and back. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, down and back. And once more. Inhale, shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, sighs, they come down and back. And then really gently taking some rotations with the neck. So right ear towards right shoulder. Taking a little stretch to start with. Maybe you open and close the jaw here. So the jaw's really linked up to neck and shoulder tightness. So particularly given that this is a remote class and no one's looking at any silly faces you're putting, this is the perfect opportunity to release your jaw. And then maybe the head rolls forward. You take a moment with the head forwards. Excuse me. And then taking left ear to left shoulder, taking the head a bit further round. Maybe you take the opens and closes through the jaw here as well. And slowly back to center. So coming through the other way this time, maybe you allow your eyes to close. So we'll go back, left ear, left shoulder. So you can take the jaw open and closes anytime that's feeling good for you. And then moving the head so that the chin tucks towards the chest. And then right ear, right shoulder. And back to center, opening your eyes. Bringing the hands out to the sides. Inhale, reaching your arms forward, palms facing the front. And really reaching up tall here. Seeing if you can reach tall without arching your lower back. So getting as much length in the spine as you can. Seeing if you can tuck the lower ribs in, and then that will allow you to open the spine without overarching. Exhale, arms come out to the side, down to the ground. Let's take that a couple more times. Inhale, arms come forward, palms forward, reaching tall. Exhaling, arms out to the side. Inhaling once more, arms reaching forward. And exhale, expanding through the chest as you exhale, coming back down. And then crossing the bending the right elbow, bringing the hand to the left shoulder. And then bending the left elbow, bringing the left hand onto the right shoulder, taking a little hug. And maybe while you're here, you also tuck the chin. And then lifting the chin, swapping the cross of your arms. So whichever way you were before, swapping it to the other way. And then exhale, tucking the chin. Inhale, lifting the chin and releasing the arms. So we'll come into eagle arms. If this doesn't feel good at any point, then feel free to go back into those hugging positions that we just took. So right arm comes out in front, palm to the sky. And then left arm comes underneath the right, bending the elbows. So you can either bring the palms back to back here, or if it feels like there's space, then you can maybe get a little bind, bringing the palms together or linking a couple of fingers together. As you inhale, lifting the elbows up, so they're in front of your face, and then away from the body. Bring your gaze down into the crease of your elbows. So you'll notice that as you lift the elbows up and away from the body, you start to get quite an intense stretch in the shoulders. So how big a stretch you get here is entirely up to you. If it feels like too much, you can obviously lower or bring in the elbows. One more breath here. Releasing the arms, taking a little shake through the shoulders. And then coming on to the other side. So this time, left arm out in front, palm to the sky. Right arm underneath, bending the elbows, either palms back to back, or finding that little interlace with the fingers or the palms. Inhaling, lifting the elbows up and away from the body. Gaze into the elbow creases. Breathing openness into the shoulders for one more breath. And then release. Uncurling the shoulders, giving those shoulders a really good shake out. And then when you're ready, coming on to hands and knees. So you'll want your two blocks here. So having them handy. And popping them down. And actually, before we come on to hands and knees, sitting back onto your heels for just a second. And maybe taking one more of those, reaching up with the arms, palms forward. And back down to the side. So just to loosen up. So with your blocks here, you'll want to put them so that they're, if you've got blocks that are this kind of size, I'm going to put them so that they're on their narrow edge, and I'm going to be putting my elbows onto those. So you don't want them tall ways, you want them long ways on their narrow edge. So just anything really that gives you a few inches lift from the floor. So if you don't have blocks, You can use a little stack of books or whatever. So you want those about shoulders width apart. And then coming on to the hands and knees, you're going to bring one elbow down onto each block. So really careful, one at a time, so that you've got lots of stability. And then allowing the head to come down towards the ground. So it may or may not touch, don't worry if it doesn't. And then interlacing the fingers. So if this already feels like quite a big shoulder opener, then you can stay where you are. If you want a little bit more, you can begin to bring the hands towards the back of the neck. So you'll just notice that you get a little bit more opening across the front of the shoulders, across the chest. So having a little play around here, seeing what feels good, really allowing the chest and the forehead to sink down towards the ground. And then sending your breath into this new space that you've created. Allowing any tightness to begin to open, to dissipate. Taking a couple more deep breaths here, if you can, breathing into those spaces. As you inhale, drawing the hands away from the back of the neck if you brought them there, and then really carefully rising up onto the elbows, and one at a time, hands come onto the block for stability. Excuse me for 1 second. Nothing like having a little reminder go off on your phone halfway through a class. So bringing the hands to the blocks and coming through a couple of cat-cows just to finish off. So inhale, pressing through the hands, opening the chest. And exhaling, tucking and rounding through the spine. Inhaling, opening and expanding through the chest. Exhaling to tuck and round. Finding your way back to center. We're going to finish in child's pose. So bringing the big toes together, knees apart, and then lowering down onto the ground. So if you've got your blocks, you're welcome to keep hands on blocks if you want to grab a little bit of extra shoulder opening. Or you can bring the hands to the ground as normal. It may be that you like to take child's pose with a cushion underneath the head, so if that's the case, then feel free to do so. And if you've got a position that just feels better for you today, if you'd rather stay seated, then go for that instead. So finding a place that feels good for your body today. So taking a few more breaths here in whatever position you've chosen. Noticing maybe space that's been created in the shoulders and the neck, a little bit more freedom. Noticing how your breath maybe travels deeper into your body now that there's a little bit more space for it to get in. And if you have a few more moments that you can stay here today, then I really encourage you to take a few minutes breathing into the openness that's in your body. Thank you for practicing with me today. And I hope that you're able to find a little bit more looseness in those tight shoulders. I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Namaste.